When we looked at Crow, we introduced the idea of the objective, the goal, the thing that your character wants. Now, we all have objectives every moment of the day, and often we're juggling lots of different objectives, some of which become more important depending on what we're in the middle of. An objective is essential to creating a scene that keeps moving forward. Imagine for a moment that you have two characters on stage and neither of them have an objective. Neither of them want anything. If you don't want anything, that means you're not in a big hurry to do much of anything. So the audience sits there watching your characters sit around doing nothing. Well, that gets pretty old pretty quickly. Now let's imagine the same scene, and now we have two characters who both very much want something. Perhaps their objective is the same thing, or perhaps their objectives are completely opposite of each other. Only one character can achieve their objective. Suddenly that scene gets a whole lot more interesting, doesn't it? So when you have an objective, you have to have something that makes it hard for you to get your objective. That thing standing in your way is another O word, an obstacle. Obstacles can crop up from a lot of places. Obstacles could be another person who is getting in your way or thwarting you. It could be nature, something in the environment. Or maybe it's something that you are putting up in your own way. Maybe you have your personal obstacles to overcome. Every good scene has an obstacle to make it harder for a character to get their objective. Now let's take a look at something that many of you have had as an objective before. You want to get an A on an assignment. Well, the obstacle in this case, you are not doing so hot in that class. You just don't understand the material. So, how are you going to get what you want? Well, the answer is this thing called tactics. Tactics are your toolbox for getting what you want. So, what works in one class may not work in another. You have to be adaptable. Let's look through a couple of different tactics you use. Perhaps your first tactic is going to be to study. You're going to study on the topic and take notes and try and learn the material. If you do that, then you may be able to get an A. But let's say that doesn't work. Maybe your notes aren't put together in a way that help you. Maybe you hit a roadblock. Well, maybe the next thing that you're going to try is to beg a friend to come and help you understand your notes or to let you borrow their notes. So you come and beg them for help. And let's say even after you beg for help, it's still not quite working. So you might try to challenge. You go and you challenge the teacher on the assignment. Is this assignment really important? Isn't it easier if I just study other material that I get already? You could go challenge your teacher. That is a tactic that may or may not be successful for you. And so, finally, none of that has worked for you. So what would you try next? To what? The more tactics you are able to put together in a scene, the more interesting it is for the audience to follow your journey and hopefully along the way be rooting for you in order to get that A on your paper or any other objective you aim for.